In this video, we're just going to take a quick look at how the different pages that are used for both or different Gospels are going to work. So on the screen here, we've got the story of when John the Baptist baptizes Jesus. It's part of it where Jesus approaches. So let's just go through what's on the screen. We've got John, he sees Jesus approach, and there's the people standing on the shores of the Jordan. All the pictures are drawn from the real location. So in the Jordan, there's it's rocky. It's also under sea level. It's very low down, and in both sides of it, there's huge sort of almost cliffs that very quickly ascend up into on one side there's sort of wilderness, and on the other side like Jerusalem. Now, so you can see in the background those, and and it's interesting because you're able to pull the images from other comics that we've done. So these ones of the West Bank were actually drawn first for Judges, where the Moabites flee Jericho and then cross over and stuff like that, and we're able to use it because it is the same place. It's also used in Joshua where they cross the river, and again, it's the same place. Beth Barah is the house of crossing, and it's where Joshua and the Israelites cross over, is where Jesus comes and John is baptizing. Now, so here we go. We've got Jesus approach, and John comes and recognizes him, speaks to him, and then we know from the Gospel of Matthew, he says, I'm not worthy to baptize you, you should be baptizing me. And Jesus responds. And also, it's interesting because from reading all of them, you know that John must vaguely know who Jesus is. We know that they are related by blood, but how closely is a matter of speculation. Some people think, they're cousins, but probably they're like second cousins, or quite distant cousins, and they actually live right at the other end of the country from each other. So Jesus lives in Nazareth, John lives around sort of Jerusalem. Well, no, he lives in the wilderness. He was born in Jerusalem, and so they live really far apart from each other, so they probably don't know each other very well, but he does recognize him because he immediately says, I'm not worthy. It's not recorded that Jesus says anything. Nevertheless, he doesn't know he's the Messiah, because God's revealed to him that when he sees the Spirit come down and enlighten somebody, that's the Messiah. And John, in his recounting of the situation in John's Gospel, basically said he didn't know Jesus was the Messiah until that happened. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, so this is the Matthew account. We'll go through it. So this is where Jesus responds to John. They agree, and Jesus enters the Jordan, and then they're baptized. Here you see John baptizing Jesus, and in the background you can also see the stones that Joshua erects when he crosses over, and I believe it's the same stones that John says to the Pharisees, from these stones God could raise up children of Israel. And then we get the beginning of the Holy Spirit beginning to descend, as it will in the next next page. So those are a few of the observations here. We've got John's got very, very long hair, long beard, because he's a Nazarite. He doesn't cut his hair. He's obviously got the camel's hair jacket. It's drawn in a way that actually reflects the fact that he's a Levite. Visually, I've made it similar to how I've drawn the high priest's garments, with the pointy shoulders and everything. It's very dirty because he's in the Jordan River, and it's not it can be clean, it can not be clean, and obviously he lives in the wilderness, so he's quite dirty and stuff. Also, his beard is like a forked shape, which again is a sort of motif I use for the Levites in the story, whereas men of Judah I tend to draw with square beards, like here. Now, so there's a few sort of things that you can draw out there. Also in the crowd you've got soldiers, Romans, women, men, tax collectors, that sort of thing, as it tells us from the Gospels. And the people here very confused because John's obviously paying deference to Jesus. They don't know who he is, but John's the one who's drawn a crowd of all of Judea to watch him. Those are some of the things. Now, what I wanted to do is bring up the Matthew version. Here we go, it's the same pictures. This is to help you visualise what it would be like. Now, we're not going to be able to do Matthew for a little while until Mark's all finished and everything, but to help you visualise how these will go together, we've got the same images, but here the different words are supplied by Matthew's account. So it says, but John would not hinder, but would have hindered him, saying, I need to be baptized by you, and you come to me. And Jesus says, allow it now. And then continues, for this is the fitting way for us to fulfill all righteousness. And it says here, then he allowed him. Then in the Matthew account, again, there's no words here as John baptizes him, and it goes on to, just as the Mark account, it says, then, as Jesus came up out of the water, the Spirit came down, and that sort of thing. So this is just by way to help you visualize how the same pictures can be used for both accounts, and also how we're representing the events faithfully by using all the different Gospels as reference, and then how they'll go together. So that's it, basically. That's just to show you how they'll go together. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and yeah, you can see more of the pages on the Kickstarter page. Cheers.